In this question, we are given that a certain characteristic in a large population, it has a distribution that is symmetric about the. We are also given that 68% of the distribution lies one standard deviation of the mean. Now, we have to find the percentage of the distribution which is less than m plus d. So, let's write down all the details that we get from the question. So, the first point is that the distribution is symmetric about the mean. This means that the mean will divide the data into two equal halves. Also, we know that 68% of the distribution lies within one standard deviation. That is, 68% of the distribution lies within m plus d, if d denotes the standard of deviation, and m minus d. We have to find what percent of distribution is less than m plus d. So we have to find the percentage of distribution which is less than m plus d. Now let's move on to step 2 and understand how to proceed with the solution. If we picturize the given details about the mean and the deviation, and if this is the distribution, then let's mark the points m minus d and m plus d. Now, according to the given information, this range is 68% of the data, and the mean is in the middle. Now, since the distribution is symmetric, the mean will divide the distribution into exactly 50% or in equal halves. Now, we have to find out the percentage of data that lies below plus d. Now that we have a fair idea of what the distribution looks like, let's move on to step 3 and find the value of the percent. Now, if 68% of the data lies within the range m plus d and m minus d, then that means from m to m minus d, the data will be half of 68% since it is symmetric. So this gives us 34%. So if I redraw the distribution again with the required values, we have m here, m plus d and m minus d. So this part comprises of 34% of the distribution, and this part also comprises of 34% of the distribution. And we also know that since the distribution is symmetric, the part from 0 to the mean comprises of 50%. Now, if we want to find the percentage of distribution less than m plus d, we have to add up 50% and the percentage of distribution between m and m plus d, which is equal to 34%. So this is equal to 50% plus 34%, which equals 84%, which is the option D.